What's up, fam, and welcome to AI Coding for Computer Savvy Non-Coders. This is just a quick crash course to get you up and running, creating your own personalized web apps in a matter of approximately 15 minutes. If you can do email, if you can send text messages and do Microsoft Office, you can do this. It will take a little bit of figuring it out, and I won't call it easy, but you can get started easily and then grow from there. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start off by looking at the current AI landscape. The first company we are going to look at is OpenAI, and OpenAI has created ChatGPT, and so you're probably already familiar with that. The second one, and second most popular, is going to be Claude. This is by a company named Anthropic. It's backed by Amazon, and it's basically the same thing from our perspective. So these two are the main LLMs, or large language models, that we're going to be using. We're going to be using their agents, and we're going to be doing all of this inside of Cursor. What Cursor is your coding environment. And so this is where we're going to be doing all of our coding. So if you go to cursor.com and then go ahead and download Cursor, that is going to get you set up. Go ahead and install it, and then let's go ahead and open it up. Before we go any further, I want to show you a couple projects that I've already made using this exact setup. So here we've got a super simple website that is for a golf tournament. In addition to making this website with AI, I also made this blind draw calculator that will calculate all the team scores after the tournament is over. I've also created a full learning management system for a client using AI. I've also made a full iOS mobile app that works wonderfully. It's 100% my own creation and idea, and this has been done 100% with AI. All of these are apps that you'd be able to create if you put enough time and energy into it. But what we're going to do is we're going to give you the tools to get you started right now. So let's go. We're going to start off by opening up Cursor. So once you've installed Cursor, you can go ahead and open it up, and you're gonna see these first options here. The first thing you're gonna do is say open a project. I know you haven't created a project yet, but all we're gonna do here is select a folder. So I'll go here and create a new folder, and I'll call it AI Demos, and hit create. That creates me a new folder, and I'm gonna hit open. Cursor now opens up, and there's not a whole lot to see. Let's go ahead and do a walkthrough on Cursor. Over here on the left side, this is your file manager. You can see in our AI demos folder, we don't have any files yet. No problem. Here is where we would see the actual contents of the file once we selected it. And over here is our chat window. This is our AI agent. To use the AI agent, you just like the way you do with ChatGPT, you just talk to it. But there's a couple little tweaks we have here. The first tweak is right here, we've got this agent dropdown, and we can switch between modes. Ask mode is just simply talking. You're asking the AI questions, and it's giving you answers. It's not taking any actions, though. It's not writing any code. It's not doing any type of debugging or feature enhancements. It's just answering your questions. Debug is when you have a problem. When something's not working and you really need the AI agent to dig deep, you're going to go into debug mode. Plan is where we'll spend a lot of our time. Plan is, hey, I want to ask you questions. I want you to give me feedback. I want you to come up with a plan. And once I approve your plan, then you can go ahead and execute. And agent mode is where we just say, hey, do this, and it runs off and it does it. It doesn't ask us any clarifying questions. It doesn't give us any feedback. It just interprets what we said and does its best to act on it. So for the most part, we're going to be in plan mode. And then when the plan is good, we hit the build button, and it will actually go and execute that plan. The next piece over here is our agent mode. So we've got a bunch of agents in here. Oftentimes this will be clicked on auto, and so you won't see any agents, but I definitely turn that off. And then I come in and I pick my agent. As you can see, I've only got a couple models enabled. and that is GPT. So GPT is OpenAI, right? That's ChatGPT. And then we've got Sonnet and Opus. Sonnet and Opus are both from Claude, and they are from Anthropic. And so the way it works is Sonnet is the baseline, and Opus is the deep thinker. Over here, with GPT, we've got Codex that's specifically for coding, or the general knowledge GPT, and you can see this is currently on 5.4. Composer is Cursor's LLM. I have not found it to be very good, or at least not as good as these other ones. I normally just stick with Codex or Sonnet when I need some deep thinking, when I'm starting a project and I need it to really go deep and be thorough. I'll go to Opus. But these higher level LLMs are more expensive. And so let's take a second and talk about pricing. In general, I think you should sign up for the $20 a month Cursor plan, and you should be good to go. I actually pay for $20 a month to Cursor, and I pay $20 a month separately to ChatGPT because my family shares our ChatGPT account, my wife and I. But you can do whatever you want. For the price, the value is insane. Like $20 is so cheap for the power it gives you. When I get super deep into a project, I might spend $200 in a month in order to complete the whole project. But again, $200 to create a $10, $20, or $30,000 app, if not more, is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful deal. So the value is definitely there, and I highly recommend you crack open the wallet and invest a little bit in this. Okay, so that's kind of the scoop here. What I want to do is I want to be able to maximize the chat, because we don't really need the whole to see all of the code, especially if we're not actually coders. So let's go ahead and maximize this chat. You can see I've already hit my usage limit here. This tells you how much I paid $20. It's given me $66 for free usage, and it resets in a couple in a week or so. If it goes over, then it goes over. It's worth it to me. But I've supplied you with this super duper prompt that I'm going to copy and paste in right now. I made this prompt using ChatGPT, and what this prompt is going to do is we just copy and paste the whole thing in, and then we hit enter. Okay, what this is going to do is it's going to start interviewing us right here, just like a regular old ChatGPT chatbot, and all we have to do is click A, B, C, or D. And so this first question is, in one sentence, what is the main thing that this app helps your users do? So perform a simple task, track record, blah, blah, blah. Each time it asks you a question, I've set it up so that each of the options get more and more complex. And so I'm going to select F here, and the app we're going to do today, I have no real idea of how this works, but I'm going to say I want a web app that organizes all of my wife's recipes. Simple enough. We're going to have a recipe app. No problem. We'll hit continue, and then it's going to dynamically start asking us questions based off of this, right? So what kind of recipe organizing is most important first? Keep all the recipes, organize recipes by breakfast, lunch categories, plan weekly meals, generate shopping lists and selected recipes, or something more. I don't know. Let's just start simple and say we want to organize recipes and keep them searchable. Might as well throw in categories. I don't think we need planning weekly meals, but maybe we'll get there one day. So I select B and I hit continue. And then I let ChatGPT cook. Who will use the app at the beginning? We're just going to say one person. We're going to keep this real simple. How should recipes be added at first? Type them in manually, paste them in. Upload photos or screenshots. That's interesting. Import from links. I like all of this stuff. I'm going to say other, all of the above. That might be giving it too much all at once, but we're going to give it a try anyways. This is cooking, and so for version 1, which input method should be available on day 1? Yeah, I like the all of the above approach still. When open the app, what should be the easiest to do? Scroll all recipes, search, filter, smart suggestions, scroll and search. Continue. Which should be the primary focus of the home screen? Scroll and browse. Each of these questions are being generated dynamically, and so I'm not exactly sure what it's going to ask me, but it's finding out all the information that it needs in order to make the app that we're looking for. How detailed should recipe organizations be at launch? Basic categories. How much detail should each recipe include? We've got title, ingredients, and steps for sure. Add prep, cook time, and servings. Add notes, category tags. Add nutrition and cost details. B. Who should recipes be shared? How should recipes be shared at launch? We don't need to share them right now. Keep it simple. And then how should we access work for version 1? No login, just use it on one device. Sure, no login. We're just going to keep this simple. It's just recipes. There's no like super sensitive information in here. What should happen if the phone has no internet? Yeah. And we keep going. It's going to ask us approximately like maybe 15 to 20 questions, so maybe we're halfway through. Which visual style fits the best? Hey, this is where you get to start picking stuff. Photos everywhere, rich visuals with photos. How often do you expect this app to be used? Daily for cooking decisions, a few times a week. How much existing recipe content should be brought in initially? Start from scratch, add a few starter sets, migrate a medium collection. I'll start from scratch with a few recipes. Which devices should be prioritized at launch? Phone first, tablet usable. Phone, tablet, and desktop equally. Let's make it work everywhere. So I don't know that I laid this out, but this is for a web app. We're not actually going to make a native iOS app at this point. You can, I have. It's absolutely possible, but for now we're just trying to keep it simple. Answers are correct. Yeah, we're good with our answers. Specification approval. Generate specification, return to interview. Okay, let's go ahead and generate specification. So what's going to happen now is that the AI bot, the AI agent is going to go through and create a couple things. It's going to create a PRD, a product requirements document, and that tells the agent all the things it needs to create. The next thing is going to create the architecture and the wireframes and the design system and the feature priority, like all what a real software engineering team would do. It's going to create all of those things, and then it spits it out, and all we see is this build button. So we can go ahead and hit build and see what happens. This might take a couple minutes. This could take 20 minutes. Not exactly sure, but we're going to find out. You can see it gives us a to-do list. It's going to draft the PRD. It's going to create the architecture. It's going to run a quality check, and then it's going to move on to the next step. If you want, you can follow along and watch all the thinking that the AI agent does, or you can go get a sandwich. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through this, and we'll get to the finished product here in a minute. Okay, so we've now gotten to the point where that took approximately 3 minutes, and AI has created all the documentation it needs in order to actually build the app. At this point, we can either approve, revise, or return to the interview. I'm just going to type an A here in the agent and submit that says that I approve the specification, and it will now move on to the building phase. Okay, so I can close this. You can see it says it already built this, so we can close this and we don't need to save it. And then it says, hey, are you ready to build it? It's like A, B, or C, and I'm going to select A and hit continue, and then we will watch what happens next. So you can see it already created these documents. We're now in the file manager, and you can see it's created these documents, and now it's going to go ahead and build As we follow along here, you're going to start to see different files generated here as it creates them, and it's going to create a ton of files. Creating a web app is incredibly difficult if you're hand coding everything, but AI is fantastic at creating this stuff, and so what would take me, I don't know, weeks if not months is going to be done in a couple minutes here. So you see all those files it just created. It's putting it in the perfect scaffolding. It's putting all the files in the exact right place where it needs it, and it's quite impressive coming from somebody who's been making websites for over 30 years. More files being created using industry standard best practices. Right now it's addressing vulnerabilities and making sure there aren't a bunch of hackable elements within here. You can see all the code it's writing as it's writing it. It's writing a bunch of CSS right now. Okay, so it looks like the AI agent has completed. That took about 12 minutes for it to run everything. And you can see it even went ahead and started a server and is now showing us what our little web app looks like. We can add our first recipe. You can type it in manually, import it from a link. I'd love to import it from a link. I don't know where we'd get that, but we can, again, I guess you could go drop in a blog and hit import. We can try that. I don't have any recipes set up right now, but let's say recipe for pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie recipe. I'm just going to copy this and paste this in here and see what it does. Say import. Bam. Look at that. It found all the stuff. It lets me select the things. I can hit save, and there's no photo here. I can edit it and choose a picture. I should definitely make it so we can like just drag and drop a picture from here over to there. But that's, some of the updates that I can make. Okay, let's actually do that just for kicks, because I can save this and you can see, hey, here's my recipe now. And I can go back and I can see, I don't really have a nav bar yet. And so that's something else that would be needed. And you can see it's when you first come here, it shows you, hey, there's a pumpkin pie recipe. It takes 30 minutes and cooks 65 minutes. Come in here, see this. Here's the steps. There's the source. This is looking really awesome for 12 minutes of my time, right? So next up, I'm going to show you how to make updates and edits. And the way we do this is we need to understand what repos are. Okay, so a repository is basically a version control that we can use to keep track of our versions. So we're going to call this version 1, right? And so if we go over here to our repo, it's going to tell us, hey, you don't have a repo. And so we need to initialize a repo. If you're running on a MacBook, then you already have GitHub installed. If not, you can ask ChatGPT how to install it using Homebrew. But I'm just going to hit initialize repo, and I'm going to close these other windows. And all we see here is all the files that have been changed since our last commit or our last save to the repository. And so I'm just going to hit the plus button here on changes to add all the changes. So now they go into stage changes and there's no more in regular changes. And then I'm going to give it a message saying initial commit. Every time I add a new feature, I'm going to make a commit once it's working. And then you can see, you don't have to publish the branch to GitHub if you don't want, but you can see that now I've committed that to my local repo and we're good. Okay, so here's where the magic is. And it is because here on changes, I don't have any changes anymore, but I'm going to start adding some more stuff. And the first thing I want to add is I'm going to maximize my chat here. And then I'm going to say in the edit recipe, okay, guys, you ready for this? I'm great at typing. I'm not so good with my thumbs on the phone, but we can do this speech to text here. And I can say in the edit recipes page, I want to make it so that you can add the images by either selecting a file or simply dragging and dropping. Please add that functionality. And then I'll hit stop, and you can see it did it in the edit recipes page. I want to make it so that you can add images by either selecting a file or simply dragging and dropping. Please add the functionality. And then I'm going to flip this to plan mode because I want it to be able to ask me clarifying questions if it's not super sure. So I switch it to plan mode. And if it was like a super complicated thing, I might switch to GPT-4 or Opus 4.6. But for now, GPT 5.2 is fine because this isn't really a hard ask. So I communicate that to the agent and see what it says. So that took about 15 seconds, and it comes back with an idea. You can read through this and approve this. You can tweak it. You can just keep telling the AI, providing more information. Or if you don't know, and candidly, if we don't care, we're just willing to try it, let's go ahead and try it. And there's a lot of safety in this because if we break anything, we can just roll it back, and I'm going to show you exactly how. So we'll hit build, and it's going to build everything over here. You can watch it, think through it all, and you can scroll down here and you can see it's a to-do list. It's got a to-do list. It's going to check them off. You can see it's working on it right here. It's cranking along, and just like that, it's complete. Now we can go and we can go back to our little app, hit refresh. I can click into here, I can hit edit, and now look, we can either choose the file or we can drag and drop. That means that I should be able to click over here and drag and drop this image and drop it in. I think I missed. I dropped it in. It's not showing me that it saved because it didn't. So I can simply come over here on this page and say save as, and I'll select somewhere to save it to. I'm just going to save it in my downloads and hit save. And then from here, I'll go and choose from my downloads. There's that pumpkin pie picture, and hit open. And then hit save. And there's that. So the drag and drop didn't actually work. Okay, this is the important part. If I come over here, hit refresh there, and that showed me the files that have changed since the last commit. Okay, but this didn't actually work the way I wanted it to. And so rather than commit this, which I could hit the plus button and say, hey, everything worked, or, drag and drop image now worked. I could type that in there, but it didn't work. And so what I'm going to do is I could tell it the drag and drop image functionality isn't working. And then I'll let it run and figure it out. Oftentimes, it might take a couple prompts and then it will work. It's like, oh yeah, I missed this. Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, okay. But sometimes, like, you work on a more in-depth function, and you just can't get it to work, or it can't seem to figure it out. At which point you can come back in here, and then rather than hit the commit button, what you're going to do on your changes is you're going to hit this discard all changes button. When you drag and drop an image, what happens? Nothing happens. The drop area is highlight, but no preview appears. That's what actually happens. So I'll hit continue. But you could come over here and you could hit the discard all changes, or just do it one file at a time if you wanted to. And this is a super easy way to go back to the last point where all the code was working. And that's super clean. Not only can you do it here though, you can come up through here and go back to the last, your last prompt where you said, hey, in the edit recipes page, I want to make it so you can add an image by either selecting or simply dragging and dropping. Please add that functionality. You can come back here and hit the go back button right here. And what that's going to do is it's going to give you an option to go back and undo all that code, and then you can add more information because maybe you gave it a poor prompt that didn't have enough information on it. Or you can just hit cancel and not do that. So right now the AI is writing more code to make it work because it didn't work the first time, and so let's see if we can get it to work again. I'm going to remove that and save it so maybe we can try this again. Okay, so it says, hey, I fixed it this time. We can see what is working now. Come in here, hit edit, it says drag and drop. If I drag and drop from a website, it says drop an image file from your computer. So that's the problem. I was trying to drag and drop from another page as opposed to off of just a file from my computer. So I already downloaded this, and I can go drag and drop this pumpkin image here, and then it actually works. So we can hit save, and you can see the pumpkin page, the pumpkin picture is working. Then now that this is working, I'm going to commit this and say, in my commit message, drag and drop images working. And I'll make sure all those changes are staged, and I'll hit commit, and then it saves it again. So this rollback functionality here is super important. If something's not working, tell AI, hey, it's not working. Give it as much information as you can. You could flip it into debug mode if you wanted. But you've got something working here, and this is incredible. So I think this is a great place to stop, knowing now that, hey, you've got an idea of what the lay of the land is and how to use cursor and what the basic functionality is. Everything I showed you here today is, you saw it all. There wasn't any background, me working in the background or anything like that. You can do this and get this far that quick. And then from there, you just iterate, you iterate, you iterate, you iterate. I can do one more demo just to show you. It's like, well, I want to, whatever, make the background blue. And just tell it that. And then see what happens. If it works for you, great. If you figure out, oh, I should have given it more information, I didn't give it enough information, then you can do that. You can roll it back using the repository functionality, the versioning control. And look, it made it blue. I said blue, what color blue? And for those of you who do know a little bit coding, you can see it said background sky 100. And I can say, I can give it an exact color that I want it to be. Make it dark blue with white text, and see what happens. You should see all the files pop up that it changes right here. It touched this file and it touched that file. And if stuff works, great. And if it doesn't, we come back and we hit this discard all changes and we tell the AI, hey, let's try that again. There's a real art in when you're using, when you start a new agent and when you don't. What happens, you can see this little context used. This is super important. You can see I've used 39% on this specific agent. You don't want to go like, if you get above 75%, it's going to start giving you bad answers and hallucinating and doing all kinds of things. And you really just don't want to go down that route. So I think for tiny little things like, hey, change the background color, sure, just pile them in there. But when it gets to, all right, I want to add this new functionality and I want it to do this and I want it to do that, then you should go and start a new agent. And a new chat is a new agent. So you come up here and you hit plus, and then you start, and then your context is fresh. And it's like, okay, we're just going to work on this page. We're going to work on this section. We're going to do it like this. And you can do everything there to avoid the AI, basically their short-term memory running out. This looks like it's still working. It made the background blue, darker blue, but the text is now unreadable. And so I told it to make it white. It says, hey, I did everything. Everything's good. So I come and hit refresh, and it didn't do exactly what I wanted. So I can either keep prompting it and saying, hey, the text was supposed to be white. It's not white. Or I can come back and be like, you know what, this was kind of a bad idea, or I needed to give it more information. If I want to give it more information, I can come back and roll it back and say discard all changes up to this checkpoint just right here, and I can say continue. And so it undoes that. You can see that change is undone. And then you can say make it dark blue with white text in the body and see if that does it better. Or you can flip it to plan mode and then see if it has any clarifying questions for you, or if it knows exactly what you want, and you can preview the plan before you execute it and then go. But there's a lot of playing around to do here, but you're already off and running. So if you got any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, we're gonna call it for this video. Best of luck. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.